Hello everyone. Welcome to 26th episode of TLB Author Interview Series. And today we have a very incredible author with us, Amol Kulkarni. So, sir, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, please go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and give us a bit overview about what your book is.
Yeah. So I am Amol Kulkarni. I am a part-time author and a full-time IT professional working in a company. And this was my second book. I have written two books. First was long back, around 7-8 years back. I wrote one book. He lost his mobile, and that was that the concept of that book was person when he loses his mobile phone, what chaos happens in his life, and all the people related to him or even not related to him. So that was a 24-hour journey of a person. The chaos that happens in his life in 24 hours. Then next I started writing this book, a murder mystery. Mystery about the death of a young lady whose mystery is shrouded in. It is mysterious to her that she dies during demonetization, as that was the backdrop I took, because it was very. That was the time when I was also writing my book. I felt it was a good backdrop, because I wanted to show chaos in my story, and during demonetization there was a lot of chaos everywhere in India. And there were few deaths during demonetization initially in first 2-3 months, and that I thought it will make the story more realistic. Showing the death of a person, but it not. Not as a accidental. It could be an accidental death or suicide or murder. So that was the premise to start with. If someone has read the book, it will be for first many chapters. It is not clear what was the cause of the death. So that was that was my premise for this story, and it took some time, and then. Finally, I got it published through a publisher.
Yeah, that's great. So each of your book dwells into different themes, whether it is chaos or comedy in He Lost His Mobile, or mystery and murder, all of that, corruption and betrayal in the Diary, the Crook, and the Albatross. So what was your actual, what inspired you to write these two different themes, which was completely opposite from each other?
My process of writing any book is that I get one line. I basically conceptualize a single line plot. So there is one line which comes to my mind, and then I start writing on that. So for the first book, that was a simple line. During that time, mobile phones were not as prevalent as now, but even then, losing a mobile phone would create a chaos in someone's life. He would lose his history and contacts and other things. Nowadays you can keep your contacts digitally, or because we have smartphones now. But earlier, when there were no smartphones, losing the contacts was a big issue in those days. So I had this single line concept of what would happen in the life of a person, at least for 24 to 48 hours when he loses his mobile phone. And then I imagined a lot of other things, like all the people connected to him or even not connected to him. And in the second book, my premise was that the concept that came to my mind was if there is a person who dies, but there are no clues or evidence whatever for even an investigator to find out how a person dies. So that was my single line concept, and then I started developing, including the backdrop, creating characters, and so I still kept the premise that there was no evidence or clue till the end. So finally, the investigator has to apply psychological
Yes.
analysis to find out the culprit.
Okay. That is like the second book, I would say, is very interesting. Like every page I turned, it kept me hooked to the book. So I really like the second book. First one I am yet to read it,
Mm.
but I hope it'll be good. I'm
Yeah.
hoping the best. Yeah. So, in your second book, Hacking Investigative Journalism and all of that uh, traits, it plays a crucial role in it,
Yeah.
in the second book. So, these are very technical subjects. So, did you have to do any research or consult any experts regarding this to make the plot like really authentic? Or did you draw inspiration from real life incidents?
Yeah, it is partially all of the things together. So I did some research uh, for understanding uh, how the banking was, because there is some part where there is some money to be withdrawn
Yeah.
from the banks and all. So that research I have done. Then during demonetization, whatever rules were there, I have to revisit. I mean, what what were the uh, uh, process and rules that were laid down uh, by the government. For uh, as far as the coding and all is concerned, that was anyway. I'm a professional in
You are an
this.
IT.
Yeah, so I could use that, and lot of other things. It was through imagination only, like how the insights of a person, if they feel guilty, or how they behave when they are I mean, in this book you can see there is a wide range of emotions, like there is
Yeah.
guilt, there is jealousy, there is uh, I mean friend relationships, and all kinds of romance is there. Then there is uh, again revenge and all. So all the emotions are there, and so all of them by observing people and by uh, getting to know various range of emotions that everyone has.
Okay, so you took half of your knowledge from your real life incidents and
Yeah,
the rest from experts. That's great.
yeah, that's right.
It shows your efforts you have put into a story.
Yeah, thank.
So for 2016 demonetization, and that serves as a powerful backdrop for the
Yeah.
story. So which adds political layers to the story. And what made you choose this particular event? So how did you know that this is the event I have to write as a narrative foundation? So were you aiming for a social commentary, or did the theme like naturally fit into the story?
So social commentary was not my prime objective.
Yeah.
It came as a additional objective. So main objective was to find out any situation, real life situation where chaos was there. I mean, public life, there was chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
And so demonetization, I thought that was a very good backdrop. I mean, it was a perfect situation for my story also. And 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 coming to, I mean, as far as political thing you said,
Yeah.
definitely I did not want to touch too much on politics in my book, but just showing two or three extreme ends of political spectrums
Yeah.
was a safe thing that I could show, that there are two or three extreme ideologies which are always clashing, and during such time of crisis, they will always try to take benefit of the crisis. So that
Okay.
is a very basic, very high level. Uh, I have touched it at a very high level, not gone into details.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the second book, from the first chapter itself, the main character Shivika, she's declared as dead.
Yeah.
So her presence is like deeply felt throughout the story, even though she's not physically present there. So, how difficult was it for you to make the narrative stay central on Shivika's character without making her physically present? So, did you push the limitations or explore different storyline techniques?
Yeah. So that was done deliberately. I mean, it was done on purpose.
Yeah,
I mean, there is a shock value if your main protagonist dies in the first chapter. So
yeah,
that is that shock value I wanted to use, and then I kept her alive through her diaries or through the conversations. So that's why diary is one of the main character in this book, where
yeah,
uh, where everyone, all the other characters, know about her through her diary. Actually, all of them are already close to her, but they don't know each other. So that is one of the characteristics that comes out through the diary of Shivika. That she is uh, she is an introvert and she doesn't reveal much about her relationship with many of the people around her, and that makes that was one of the thing I brought in the story. So that makes it more intriguing and mysterious. Like, even though the one who claims to be investigator
yeah,
wants to know about all of them, yeah, then the other characters, they don't know much about the other characters. Shivika has not
yeah.
told each one of them. So that was one of the thing I brought in the story through Shivika. So Shivika becomes central. She is the only one who knows about everyone. No one else knows, but she is not there.
It was like everyone was connected to her, but they don't know each other.
Yeah, they don't.
They were completely strangers,
Yeah,
which was a very like hooking part of the book. Like when everyone met each other, they were like they knew her,
yeah.
but they don't know
They
each
were
other.
strangers. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
strangers to each
They
other.
were totally strangers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had to sum up your second book, The Diary, The Crook, and the Albatross, in just 3 words, which one would you choose and why?
Uh, so it's a psychological mystery thriller. That's the 3 words. I usually use this for my tagline also. So this is
Yeah,
it's not just a mystery thriller. It's a psychological mystery thriller.
psychological. Exactly. I get it. Okay, so coming to your first book, that is comedy, comedy with tragedy, I would say. So this book takes place in a single day, which like quickly spirals into complete chaos in Gotham's life. So what inspired you to structure the story this way, like a single line, a story, as you said, the
So
whole story is based on a single day, a single incident. So what was your inspiration behind this?
so it touches the comic and tragic parts, but it is not actually comedy or tragedy. It's a chase. You may see there is a chase story, like he's
Yeah,
chasing for finding out something. So it's a chase story, and so the main premise was chaos gone out of hand. So it is chaos, uncontrollable chaos. I mean, he could not control anything in his life because of one incident of mobile, and
yeah,
I stretched my imagination far. What worst could happen in his life? That's what I tried to imagine. Like, it this event led to kidnapping of his daughter, and then uh, even the goons were affected because of his lost mobile. So it was a very far stretching imagination that I tried to incorporate here. And yeah, it could. I mean, there is as you said, it could be a comic or tragic. It could go anyway. I mean, if someone wants to adapt it, they can make a comedy film, they can make a tragedy film, or they can make a thriller also. So it the story can be given direction in any of this genre.
so I have seen read many reviews on this book, and many people were like, yeah, this type of books, like people don't write these type of books nowadays. So
Mhm.
this should be adapted into a movie. So it's audience perspective. They want it in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in today's world, losing a mobile phone can be like almost feel it's end of the world
Not in
for.
today's, yeah, not in today's world, because now we are connected through a lot of things. I mean, our life is digital now, so just a mobile
Yeah.
phone will not create any chaos as it was in that period. So the story is
Yeah.
around 2006-7.
Yeah.
This story takes place in that time, where everyone had a mobile phone, but no one, almost none of them had a smartphone. Everyone was having a simple phone. There was
Yeah.
no Facebook. Facebook was not started in 2006. So I carefully took this period 2006, where there was no Facebook, and there were no smartphones, and even people have had stopped using landline phones. So that was the period
Yeah.
when this transition happened.
Okay. So it, at that time, it felt like mobile phone was everything.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah. Either you have contacts in mobile phone, or you have
all
your diary. Yeah,
diary.
physical
Yeah.
diary. Those were the only two places.
Yeah. So what do you think about the increasing dependence on technology? Um, did the idea evolve naturally as a part of the story in your first book, or did you always have the focus or aim of putting this event in your book?
Yeah, that was the main premise. As I said, this was the main plot, because
Yeah.
if the person loses his mobile phone, then and I've shown, so in each of my both of my books, the characters are very well defined and they have very distinct features. So in the mobile book, the main protagonist Gautam, he has a habit of not remembering numbers.
Not.
So
Yeah.
we see many people who don't remember numbers, mobile phone numbers or any other numbers. So,
Yeah.
and a person like him, if he loses his mobile phone, then it creates more chaos. Uh, as against a person who has a good memory, then so it all things fall in place for the chaos. That, I mean, I think even other authors will also agree to it, that they look for a story where everything, if anything bad happens, then it should happen for them, for one of the characters, or anything good happens, everything should happen. So that way the plot is built.
Okay. That's really interesting. So this is one of I want to know the answer of this question from you. If you lost your mobile phone for an entire day, just like Gotham did, and if you're like transferred you were taken back into that time, so how do you think your own day would unfold? Would it be any different or any less or more chaotic than Gotham's life?
So so the characteristics of Gautam and me differ in a way that I remember the numbers very well. I mean, I remember everyone's mobile number or birthdays or everything I remember. So that way, the character-wise, his character is totally opposite to my character. So that is one thing, and events. Uh, I don't know, or I don't think so many events would have happened in my life. But if it had happened, then uh, so I'm actually cool compared to Gautam, who is uh, more agitated when his mobile phone uses. So maybe I tried to write a character who is not near to me.
Okay. So, if you had to choose just one of your books for readers to pick up first, which one would it be and why? And what makes that book stand out the most to
So
you?
yeah, the diary, the Crooks and the Albatross, definitely. That was, I mean, this book is more near to me because I have also explored the psychological aspects of each character. That was done earlier also, but in this book it is more prominent. And I tried to bring in a lot of things which were not there in the first book. And also, the main protagonist in my second book is a female character. So it was a challenge to write from female character's point of view. And I have received good reviews on character building on this book. So definitely, the second book is more close to me.
Even to me, I think I will also pick the second book.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question here by Rishabh. He is asking, would you choose the era where there were no technological products, or would you choose the new age savvy technology era?
It depends on the plot. If my plot compels me to take either of these era, I will choose that. I mean, there is a lot of material. I can do research. There are places to do research. So if my plot says that I should choose an era where there was no technology, then definitely I will go there and do a research. And if I have to choose something which has very high technological advancements, so actually, in fact, maybe that project got stalled, but I was planning to write something on industrial revolution area. So in 17th or 18th century, that plot was there in my mind to write about that. I mean, a thriller, not a non-fiction, but a fiction book about that era. So that was definitely there was no technology during that time. But unfortunately, that project is on hold, or it is almost scrapped. So, yeah. But so there is no restriction on choosing any era. It depends on the plot. If plot needs that, that era, I will
exactly
choose that. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you believe humor, which is which the topic which you touched in your first book, do you believe it is an effective tool for criticizing real world issues without making a narrative feel too heavy? So, how did you incorporate this approach in He Lost His Mobile?
Yeah, humor is a very good medium to express. Yes, you said correctly. But it is also a tough thing. Like very good established authors can write good humor.
Yeah.
So I tried to touch it. It has not spanned through the entire first book. I think only one or two chapters. The character Gautam's boss KK. I could put humor only in that character, not too many characters. I could add humor in that. So partially, I was able to add humor into that book.
Okay, we have one more question here by Neha Arora. What are your thoughts on kids being so much dependent upon gadgets?
So that is not a good thing, but there are two ways of looking at it. Like gadgets also increase their knowledge and way to interact. I mean, like social interactions and social awareness increases because of gadgets. That is a positive side. And negative side is addiction, as everyone knows. So it's a balance that needs to be there. So, and as kids, would not have control or would not know where to stop. So maybe parents needs to see where they should be given free hand and where they should be restricted.
Okay.
That's my take.
Yeah, I think technology and gadgets have both positive and negative effects on children.
Yeah.
So there should be restrictions,
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. So, a very hot topic that is going on in the literary world, which is piracy. So, it is hotly debated today, and many authors and readers taking a strong stand against it. So, as an author, what are your thoughts on piracy? Do you believe it solely harms the writers, or do you think there are deeper discussions to be had about accessibility, pricing, and the reader behavior?
So piracy is definitely a thing that should be stopped. I mean, that is not good thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, what was your next part of the question?
So, do you think it solely harms the writers, or there is deeper discussion about
Yeah,
accessibility,
so
pricing?
yeah, it harms the writers in a way that their reputation gets harmed if they do piracy, and also it harms uh, overall. I mean, there is it, everyone goes into everything goes into. There is a dishonesty in all of these things. Like no one is no one would believe on anyone if there is no control on over the piracy.
Yeah. So, what do you think from a reader's perspective?
Readers depends on how knowledgeable the reader is. If the reader is highly knowledgeable, they can easily find out from where it is picked, uh, or I mean, the readers are depends on how much knowledge the readers have. But definitely, it's not good for readers also, because that creates mistrust even in the reader's mind about the author. So maybe the reader, I mean, there could be cases readers stop reading midway if they find out that it is taken out from some other place, or they can stop even even stop reading or watching that authors. Stop following the author in today's world. Yeah.
Yeah, stop following. So, yeah, it should be like mutual efforts from the readers and the authors too.
Yeah.
Like piracy is something which is very debatable.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like authors receive all kinds of feedback. Some are uplifting and some are disheartening. So, what is the most memorable piece of reader feedback you have received, whether positive or negative?
So for my first book, I received. I mean, that was my first feedback on Amazon or through uh, through personal email, and
Yeah.
most positive thing about it was the reviewer had commended my way of building the characters, and she even commended me. I mean, she even said in the review that the way I have built characters were even better than what Chetan Bhagat had built in his book. So that was one of the very good positive feedback I have received. And for the second book, I have received many good feedbacks, and the the best one, or one of the best one, was to, I mean, again based on again related to character building and all, how how Shivika is uh, uh, having, I mean, depth and span of her characterization.
Okay. So, can you give us a sneak peek in what's coming next from you? What are you currently working on, or your future projects that readers should look out for?
So currently, I am working on, as I said, I am a part-time author. I'm a full-time. I have a job, so
Yeah.
my progress usually is very slow. So I take minimum 3 to 4 years to write a book. So it's almost 3 to 4 years, and so I'm writing something now, and
Yeah.
it's not much. It is just 20-30% done, and so and it's a thriller. again. So I'm, as I said, I'm always even uh, for very mundane thing, also mundane topic. Also, I like to create some
Thrill.
brilliant material. So it will not be a simple story or anything. Uh, any simple thing. I mean, even I believe that even people who write romance or love stories, they can put some mystery or thrill in that. So that, I mean, that is the way a writer can or
Yeah.
author can build it. So I'm not writing any love story or romance, but I'm just saying that thriller is such a genre that anyone can put that in mystery or thriller in any type of plots.
Yeah. Thriller or mystery is something that I think every reader likes it.
Yeah.
There is no, I don't think so. There will be readers who will be like, no, I don't like thriller or mystery, that kind of book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
My, yeah, my recommendation to all authors is to put twists in their stories, even whatever genre they are writing. They should try to
yeah,
put as many or at least few twists in their stories, which will make
it
reading comfort
makes it
very
more
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, very important question. How has your experience with TLB been? Like, what are your thoughts on it? And any feedback or suggestion you would like to give to us?
So the first impression is it was overwhelming. Like so many messages, it was difficult to keep pace with it. So I mean, for in AOTW and BOTW, it's a huge. I mean, after 2-3 hours, if I look at it, more than 200 messages are already in there, so it becomes difficult to follow.
Yeah.
But still, I'm trying to catch up on that, on the messages, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good and very lively community. I like the way everyone is responding and communicating. Only thing is, I'm slightly behind in catching up with all these things, but
We get there.
definitely like to.
Yeah. That's really good. And what are the main takeaways from each of your book? Like the first book and the second book, which are completely opposite. So what are the main morals or we can say takeaways from these books?
Yeah. So so normally, what I feel is from a fiction book, there is not always. It's not always necessary to give some moral or message through it, but still, in the second book, the Diary, Crooks, and the Albatross, the message, I could say, I don't think that I have any message in that book. It's just
That's
a
fine.
good story, that message to the readers that try to read and appreciate the thrillers.
That's a very good message. Yeah. It's not necessary for every book to give a moral or a message. Some books are just
Yeah, just
fun for
just
enjoying.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
good. So that was really interesting to have you here, sir. It was a very lively conversation. I enjoyed it. And for all the viewers, the book, both of his book, He Lost His Mobile and The Diary and the Crook and the Albatross, is there on Amazon, Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. So go grab the copies. You'll love these books. So Amol sir, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to the viewers who attended.
Thank all of you for staying tuned. So yeah, that was up for today, and see you next time. Till then, happy reading.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you. Bye.